Hi everyone, it's Lisa Mears here, and in today's video I'm going to be making a fall themed card using some products from the brand new Pretty Pink Posh fall release. I'm going to be doing some Copic coloring for my pumpkins and creating a fun stenciled background. And one of the products that I'm going to be using is this Autumn Pumpkins stamp set from Pretty Pink Posh. This set has several pumpkins, some squash, fall leaves, and a sentiment that says Autumn Greetings. There's also coordinating dies available with this set. And for my stencil today, I'm going to be using the Pretty Pink Posh Deco Leaves stencil. And this is a one-layer stencil, and it makes a fun leaf pattern on your card layers. And then I'm also going to be bringing in the Thankful Shadow word die. The die set comes with the word thankful plus the shadow die, and there's also a hot foil plate that you can purchase separately, and the shadow die would cut that hot foil plate out as well. But I'm not going to be using the hot foil plate. I'm just going to be die cutting the word thankful with some cardstock. So I already stamped out all of my images onto some Spectrum Noir Ultra Smooth cardstock, and I'm going to be doing some Copic coloring. And here are the Copic markers that I'm going to be using for my first pumpkin. My first pumpkin is going to be an orange pumpkin, and I'll be bringing in the R29, YR09, YR04, and Y35. So I'm starting out with the red color, and I'm just putting some of the red on the top and bottom of the pumpkin, and that is the R29. I'm using a flicking motion, and I'm making sure that my lines are going in the direction of the vertical lines on the pumpkin. Once I add the red color, I'm going to come in with my darkest orange color, which is the YR09, and I'm just going to extend that orange color from the red color. So I'm going to go over a little bit of the red and bring the orange a little bit further into the white area. Again, using that flicking motion, and I'm going to do that on the top and bottom of the pumpkin. I also added some orange down those vertical center lines of the pumpkin, and again, this is the YR09. Next, I'll use my lighter orange color. This is the YR04, and I'm going to do the same thing as I did previously, just coming over the YR09 and extending that color into the white area of the pumpkin, both on the top and bottom of that pumpkin. So here I'm going to go ahead and move my hand so you'll be able to see what this looks like a little bit better. So next I'm going to come in with my last color, the Y35, which is the yellow, and I'm going to close the gap between those colors and fill in the rest of the white area. So the first time I go over this, you can see that there clearly are some lines from those markers in the pumpkin, which if you don't mind those lines, then you can move on and go to the next coloring. But I am going to blend this a little bit better by just adding those same colors exactly as I did before. So basically, I'm just going over it a second time with the same exact markers just to get a better blend. So as I color this pumpkin, I know it's a little bit hard to see with my hand in there, but it was really difficult to get a good angle with the camera and try and color it at the same time. So I am doing the best I can here to show you the process. And I also want to add that by all means, I am no expert at coloring. This is just how I color these pumpkins, and I know a lot of you like to watch the coloring process. So that's why I leave them in these videos. Now I haven't colored with the Copic markers in a while. I'm usually coloring with the Zig markers, which is the watercolor, just because I find them a little bit easier. And you can color these pumpkins or any of your stamps with any color medium that you choose. I find that the watercoloring is easiest, but I love the look also of the Copic markers. So with this next pumpkin, I'm using BG18 as my dark, BG13 as my medium tone, and BG11 as my light. And I'm coloring it identically to the orange pumpkin with the dark color BG18 at the top Extending from that is the BG13, and then filling up the remaining white space in the middle is the BG11. After I color it the first time, I will add those colors again, just go over it a second time with those same colors. And I love the teal pumpkins. And did you know, here's a fun fact, that if you put a teal pumpkin on your doorstep on Halloween, it means that you have other treats available for kids that have food allergies. So it means that you might have other things such as small toys or little trinkets, maybe stickers or those spider rings. So any type of non-food item, and that just allows all kids to be included in trick-or-treating, even those kids that have food allergies. I think that's such a great idea. Leave me a comment and let me know if you all leave a teal pumpkin out at your house on Halloween. Okay, so here I'm coloring up the squash and I'm using YR21, E42, and E50. So I'm going to be coloring up more than just the pumpkins that you saw me color today. I'm going to color the others off camera, but it's all the same process that I use. And I will have the Copic color markers listed down in the description box below as well as on my blog. Okay, so here I'm using the Deco Leaves stencil. I went ahead and cut down a piece of Bristol Smooth Cardstock to 6 by 6 inches, but I'm going to end up cutting that even smaller. My finished cardstock ends up being 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. But I decided to go a little bit larger as I'm inking it up. And the colors that I'm using to ink it up, they're all Distress Oxide inks. I'm using Salvaged Patina, that's the teal color. It's such a pretty color. And then I'm also using Scattered Straw, that's the yellow color, and Dried Marigold, which is like a light peach color. And I'm just randomly putting this ink on onto the stencil. It's just different spots on the stencil. No rhyme or reason as to where the ink colors are going. I just wanted to mix it up a little bit so I have different colors going throughout the entire pattern on this stencil. After I cut down the background, I went ahead and took out my Vintage Photo Distress Oxide ink, and I'm just inking up the edges of that cardstock with that Vintage Photo ink. So this is just like a brown ink that I'm putting all around the edges. After that, I'm taking my Scrapbookcom metallic gold reinker and I'm just putting a little bit there on my table. And I'm going to take a water sprayer and just add some water to it, and then using a paintbrush, mixing up that reinker with the water and then flicking it on the background. Now after doing this, I realized that it was really lighter than what I was going for. I wanted some darker browns flicked on to that background. So after doing this a few times with the metallic gold, I decided to come in with my Walnut Stain Distress ink and do the same thing. So I put the ink on the mat, added some water, and then just flicked it onto the background. And I love the look of that stenciled background with all of that ink splattered onto it. Now I'm going to put my card together. So I did die cut the word thankful out of some brown cardstock. It does have a shadow die, but I'm not using the shadow die. I didn't want any cardstock behind those letters because I wanted more of that background to show rather than hiding it with cardstock. So here I am just positioning everything where I want it. I went ahead and die cut all of my stamps and I'm just trying to figure out here where I want them on the card. Once I have everything where I want it to go, I will go ahead and add glue and then add all of the pieces to my card layer. So I started with the word thankful and I added that first, and then I will add the pumpkins, making sure that I add everything that's in back first and then finishing with everything that's in front. I cut another piece of brown cardstock to 4¼ by 5½ inches, and I'm gonna add my card layer on top of the brown cardstock. So a little bit of that brown will be peeking around the edges, and it's the same color brown cardstock that I use for the word thankful, so all of the colors tie in together. And then I'll add that entire layer to an A2 size card base. So if you're interested in any of the products that I use today, please check the description box of this YouTube video or my blog at lisamearsdesigns.com. I always appreciate when you use my links because it does help support me. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you like videos like this, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, and have a great day. Bye-bye.